Hello everyone, welcome back to the best recapped movie. Mechanic Resurrection is a 2016 American movie with amazing action scenes. A crime story about missions, each of which has its unique characteristics. Stay with us until the end of the video. Spoilers ahead. Arthur Bishop lives in a tourist area by the sea on his boat. He wakes up in the morning, drinks his coffee, plays and listens to his favorite music, then gets off the boat and activates a bomb on the ship so that no one can steal the boat. He rides his motorcycle and drives and goes to the restaurant, and everyone in the restaurant knows him. The waiter gives Arthur a special seat overlooking the sea. Then a girl with Asian features comes up to him and tells him that she has been looking for him for a long time. She tells him that his boss wants him to kill 3 people and that he has to destroy them. Like a natural death, telling him that it won't be difficult for him because he is an expert at what he does. She tells him that if he resists, she will report him because many parties want her and tells them that she is still alive because he faked his death and got away from it all. Arthur realizes that there are people with this girl. They look at him with threatening looks. He asks her to make a phone call, and when he takes out his phone, he takes a picture of the girl. He stops and hits her as she tries to pull out the gun. Then people start attacking Arthur with girls. However, he manages to beat them with great skill. Arthur notices on the security cameras that the thugs are coming towards him. Bishop jumps from the restaurant's wall and descends on the cable car. The girl goes after Bishop with some men, and they enter the cable car and threaten the people inside. They were trying to find Arthur, but he was above them. The girl shoots him and tries to get on it, but Arthur jumps and lands on a plastic airplane for tourists. At night, when Arthur returns to the boat, he watches the place from a distance and notices the presence of 2 people on the ship, and they search the ship without any thought. Arthur takes out his phone and blows up the boat. He goes to a place with large containers, opens one, and burns his passport and things related to his information. Then Arthur goes to an island in Thailand and meets a girl. He is greeted by his old friend May, who he knows owns a tourist hotel on the island, so she takes him to the room where he used to live. The girl who took a picture of him in the restaurant. He knows information about her, and Crain is the person for whom this girl works. Tomorrow morning Arthur sees a girl on the beach and looks at her from afar. In the next scene, we see Gina entering and meeting May, asking her for first aid. May notices a bruise on Gina's hand from the beating. May talks to Gina and asks if she needs more help. However, Gina tells her that she needs a first aid kit and then goes off at night on a boat near their place, where May notices a girl on board, and someone beats her up. She goes to Arthur and asks him to help this girl. Arthur then arrives at the boat and tells the man to let the girl go and not hit her. However, the man refuses to leave him and tries to raise the gun toward Arthur, but Arthur fights with him, and in this fight, the man's head falls on the ground, and he is killed. May arrives, and Arthur asks her to take Gina to the hotel. When Arthur searches the boat, he finds her passport and his photo on Gina's phone. After the ship blows them up, he returns to the hotel and asks Gina why his picture is on her phone. He asks her if she works for Crain. She tells him that Crain has something to threaten her and that whatever happened is a plan to trap Arthur. Gina says, the plan was to get to know you and call his phone number after meeting you, and then her mission will be over. Arthur learns that Gina runs a shelter for children who are victims of human trafficking. Crain threatens to kill the children if she does not comply with his demands. The next morning, while walking with Gina, Arthur notices a boat in the sea approaching the island with men on board, and these men are keeping watch on the island. Arthur wants Gina to act like she's dating him. This is what happened. At night Gina apologizes for setting him up and tells him she has no choice because the children are everything to him. Arthur also tells her that he appreciates his behavior as an orphan. He tells her that a gangster bought him and Crain. And he explains to Gina that he managed to escape from them. However, Crain can't escape, so they punish him because they think he's the reason he escaped, and that's why Crain hates Arthur Bishop. They get close and kiss each other and sleep together. Tomorrow morning, Arthur plans to escape Gina. He gives her a watch that belonged to her father as a souvenir and asks her to keep it until they meet again the next day. Crain's men arrive and kidnap Gina and Arthur as she stands up to them. Arthur is taken under security to a place to meet with Crain. After they meet, Crain asks him to free Gina. Crain tells Arthur that he will only release him after killing 3 people. Crain gives Arthur a file containing people's information. The first Krill was an African arms dealer incarcerated in a hard-to-reach maximum security prison. Crain then gives Arthur a GPS capsule and asks him to swallow it after completing his mission so they can catch him. Arthur asks Crain what proof there is that Gina is alive, and Crain tells him that after whatever he does, they will let him call her. He tells him they will send him his location after completing the last mission. Then, in Malaysia, Arthur checks the information about the prison where the person is for the first time. The prison was in the middle of the sea, full of sharks. The prison was surrounded by 100 m high cliffs, meaning the work was complicated and almost impossible to enter. Arthur checks the information of several wanted men and then chooses one of them. He has a tattoo similar to him on his face, so Arthur fakes his identity as this person and buys some items that he needs to complete the mission. On the second day, he walks in the street and fights with the police until they arrest him and go to jail. They capture him and send him to prison. Arthur remembers Crain telling him that if Krill hadn't been accidentally killed, he wouldn't have come in the boat to save him. Arthur points out that the arms dealer Krill does not walk alone but has people to protect him. Arthur asks a prisoner about the gun dealer. The prisoner tells him that this person's name is Kirill and that he killed the president of Liberia. He told him that many people were trying to kill him in prison. When an inmate tries to kill Carl, Arthur saves him from death and stabs him with a knife. Kirill thanks Arthur and invites him to dinner. When Arthur meets him, he kills him with the already prepared equipment. Krill's death is shown to be due to food poisoning. Arthur then blows up the prison wall and paints his body with a substance that keeps sharks away. He then swallows his GPS capsule and jumps into the sea. A message reaches the boat's captain that Arthur has succeeded in his mission. As promised, they send him the location, and then Crain lets Arthur talk to Gina on a video call. She tells him he has 36 hours to kill the second person, or they will kill her. Arthur tells Gina that no one can kill her. Then he sends Arthur information about a second person named Adrian, a billionaire who works in minerals but whose main business is human trafficking. He lives in Australia, in a skyscraper on the 58th floor. He tells him that this person's apartment is armored with concrete walls. All the doors in his apartment are armored and bulletproof, and every entrance has a fingerprint sensor and device. After that, Arthur pretends he wants to rent the apartment below this man's. He copies the keys to the apartment and takes detailed maps. Without anyone noticing, he enters the rented house in a repair suit to provide the facilities for the operation. There, Arthur examines the test of how to break the glass of the swimming pool, and after it is successful, he starts the operation. After opening the window, he leaves the apartment and reaches the glass pool in the billionaire's apartment. He sets off the glass bomb and then blows up the pool where Adrian is staying. Adrian also falls from a height and dies. Arthur and Gina have a video call again. When talking to Arthur, Gina cleverly points the camera at the number of the boat she is on. Arthur goes to the boat site by helicopter. He enters the ship and kills several guards, but is then captured. Crain threatens Arthur, telling him that if he tries again, their agreement will be voided. Crain then asks Arthur to complete one last mission, to kill Max, a wealthy American arms dealer who has bought a monument to Bulgarian communism. This monument was built on a mountain, and a pond was hidden for repairing submarines. These submarines are equipped with intercontinental missiles. No one could enter or leave this place. Everyone who tried to cross was killed and died. And now Max has increased his security defenses because of the deaths of Adrian and Krill. Arthur has 48 hours to do this. Before completing the mission, Arthur learns that Crain is bypassing his rivals in arms smuggling. On his last mission, after checking him out, he learns that Max has ordered a medical helicopter. So he decides to hide under the plane when the helicopter goes there to send a doctor and nurse by wounding one of the guards. When he arrives, he places a device that jams the CCTV cameras. He disrupts the security system there. Then when the guards try to send Max to the safe room in the building, Arthur blows up the elevator. When Max enters the safe room, he finds Arthur before him. Arthur makes a deal with Max in which Max will pretend to be dead and trick Crain into sending his men to search for Max's body. And as a result, Crain is left alone in the boat. And now it's easy to kill him. Max's death was faked. Then an explosion occurs in the headquarters where Max is located. When Max falls into the pond, Arthur waits for him with an oxygen bottle. Then they go to an island. Arthur calls Crain and asks him to release Gina. However, Crain refuses and demands to see Max's body. Arthur informs Crain that the body is in his submarine and that he can find Max there. Crain orders his men to go to the submarine dock to ensure Max is dead. Before they arrive, Arthur cleverly prepares the place with war equipment. When Crain's men arrive, Arthur kills them in a beautiful fight. Crain watches what happened through security cameras. Arthur gets on the Crain's men boat and kills all the guards there. In this conflict, Gina is injured by a guard's shot. Crain activates a time bomb on the ship and plans to kill them and escape himself. Still, Arthur manages to reach Gina and places her in a survival pod, which detaches from the ship before it explodes. Arthur reaches out to Crain and gets into a fight with him. After fighting between them, he chains Crain, and the ship's head explodes, and Crain is killed. On the other hand, Gina is rescued by the rescue team, and they tell her that they did not find anyone else alive. Max and his men have been watching the sinking of the boat being pulled out of the sea, which attracts Max's attention when the CCTV camera goes away. After a while, we watch Gina with the children, who are teaching them, and she is surprised that Arthur is in front of her, and of course, she smiles after that. On the other hand, when Max is checking the CCTV cameras, he discovers that Arthur is hiding in the steel room that is found on every boat for emergencies. He admires Arthur's work with a smile and sarcasm and says that he will be killed, and here the movie ends. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.